All right. All right, so what are some facilities that you can think of that employ healthcare workers? Hospitals, at home care, clinics, doctor's offices,
Hospice.
Senior citizen homes. So it's lots of different places that employ healthcare workers. Schools, military have healthcare workers, they doctors and all kind of people in the military that are medical. Have you or a family member been to this type of facility recently? People got doctor's appointments, some people go to the ER.
No.
Huh? Your dad's a nurse? Okay, they go to work. Alright, so choose two of the facilities that are listed in number one. What services are offered by this facility? What kind of services do you get at any of these facilities? Testing for infectious diseases. What else can you get? Y'all get eye check. Go to the dentist with your teeth cleaned. Having babies. All kind of things. Huh? Surgery. Right. Now big thing is vaccinating, getting vaccinations or getting COVID tested, stuff like that. All right. Who is served? So what I mean by that is what kind of people? Like who can go to these facilities? Babies, toddlers, adults.
Oh, I thought you meant something else, like who's served at these types of facilities.
Like what kind of people can get services? Everybody, all kind of people. And what kind of healthcare workers are employed at these facilities? Surgeons, therapists, nurses, doctors, all kinds of healthcare workers, many different types of healthcare workers as well. So today we're gonna start talking about how healthcare came about, the history of healthcare. We're gonna move into like different types of healthcare facilities, and then in a couple weeks we're gonna talk about different healthcare jobs, healthcare workers.
What you'll learn.
Alright, so we're going to talk about our objectives are to recognize the medical contributions of several ancient cultures. We're going to explain the basic teachings of Hippocrates, and then we're going to say what ancient healers believe to be the cause of an illness. So remember, if I tell you to write it down, that means it's going to be on the test. If I don't say write it down, then don't worry about it.
Introduction.
Alright, so we're going to start by talking about the history of healthcare. We need to move this to the front. Alright, so it's important for every healthcare worker to learn the roots of the healthcare system. So where did it all begin? Healthcare has existed since primitive times. The medical methods have developed in extraordinary ways since those days. Many medical pioneers have helped to form the healthcare practices that exist today.
Primitive times.
All right, so primitive times. That's the beginning, like when everything started. All right, so between 4000 BC and 3000 BC, do y'all know what BC stands for?
Before Christ.
Before Christ. Are considered the primitive era. During this time, people believed that illness was caused by supernatural beings. So they felt like if you were sick, it was from some higher power. It was thought that if people were disobedient, the gods would inflict their bodies with sickness or disease. Priests and medicine men treated illness through religious ceremonies, or evil spirits were thought to be driven out of the body. However, many herbs and plants were used as medicines during the primitive time. Opium, which comes from the opium poppy, is the medicine that's a painkiller. So opiate, that's a powerful medicine for like painkillers and stuff. So it's still used today. You have morphine, that's another powerful painkiller. It's extracted from the opium plant. Morphine is often given to patients to relieve pain after surgery. So people might get morphine for that. Also, if you have like people that are in hospice and getting to the end of life, they'll give them morphine to help make their transition easier, to stop the pain that they might be in. They'll give them morphine for that too. So it's one of those powerful types of medicine, pain reliever. Which medicine was used during the primitive era to treat pain? Opium. Ibuprofen and aspirin has nothing on opium.
Ancient Egyptians and Babylon.
All right, so you have the ancient Egyptians and the Babylonians. All right, so the ancient Egyptians rose to the forefront of medicine around 3000 BC. Although their practices were based on magic and religion, the Egyptians designed structured procedures and kept accurate health records. The Egyptians opposed medical research and experimentation, so they were against all that. They didn't feel like that is where everything came from. Physicians, another word for doctors, were executed if their patients died while undergoing a new procedure. Conservative physicians were praised during this time. A man named Amenhotep became well known for his medical care of the Egyptian royal family. Amenhotep is believed to have been the first physician. By 2000 BC, the Babylonians had set up a medical structure that was similar to that of the Egyptians. They created rules that require fees to be paid to physicians for medical services. Like their Egyptian counterparts, Babylonian physicians were punished severely if patients died or lost their eyesight during treatment. Both the Egyptians and the Babylonians had poor sanitation methods and little regard for personal hygiene. Infection and disease spread quickly among the people. During this time, the average lifespan was only 30 years old. So people during this time period, they did not believe in sanitation. That's like sterilizing things, disinfecting, keeping things clean. Because you know, if you're cutting into anybody, if you're doing any type of surgery, instruments need to be sterilized or sanitized because that could lead to infection. But they didn't believe in this type of stuff, so people were just dying because of this. And most of the time, people didn't live past the age of 30 because of these practices. Who is believed to be the first physician? Amenhotep. Why did disease spread quickly among the ancient Egyptians and Babylonians? They had poor sanitation and hygiene.
Ancient Hindus and Chinese.
All right, by 1500 BC, the Hindus in India had developed an advanced medical organization. They established hospitals staffed by some of the best nurses in the world. So they've started to get like actual hospitals and have like healthcare workers come in and work. Hindu doctors were trained in many types of surgery, including cataracts and plastic surgery. They also made a significant contribution to the understanding of drugs, particularly those used for anesthesia. Because you have to have anesthesia in order to get these surgical procedures. Like and plastic surgery probably wasn't like Dr. Miami and BBLs. It was just like stuff that was necessary, not cosmetic. In addition, the Hindus created walled sewer drains and a system of underground water pipes. These advances helped to maintain a sanitary environment and slow the spread of disease. The ancient Chinese also developed useful medical practices. The Chinese documented over 1,000 medical herbs and established the science of acupuncture. And acupuncture is when they use those little bitty needles like this, and they'll stick them like in your body, I guess, to relieve. I've never had acupuncture before, but no, y'all can go ahead. Yeah. But I've seen them where people have it like all down their back and stuff.
Look at it on her face.
Acupuncture is recognized today as a valid form of alternative treatment. I think it might be something. Alright, the ancient Hindus were trained in many types of surgery, including cataracts and plastic surgery. That's true. The development of sewer drains and water pipes helped to slow the spread of disease. True.
Ancient Greeks.
Alright. When the Greeks began to conquer the ancient world, they adopted the medical practices of the countries they overcame. But as the civilization advanced, the Greeks began to question the accepted medical beliefs. In the late 400s BC, Hippocrates began his study of medicine in Greece. He made one of the greatest contributions to medical history by stressing the importance of observation and note-taking. Hippocrates taught that disease was a result of natural causes, not supernatural punishment. The only way to cure disease, he noted, was to observe the sick. Hippocrates also encouraged cleanliness and proper diet to prevent illness. Hippocrates is known as the father of medicine, so you need to know that he is known as the father of medicine. To this day, physicians are required to abide by the Hippocratic Oath, which is a code of behavior written by Hippocrates thousands of years ago. No, Hippocratic Oath. That's what doctors say when they are being like sworn in to be doctors. They have to say the Hippocratic Oath. I know it starts off like to first do no harm, but I don't know the rest of it. Aristotle was another Greek contributor to the growing medical field. Aristotle developed the field of anatomy by dissecting animals. He was the first to make a connection between medicine, biology, and the body. So, only thing you need to know is that Hippocrates is known as the father of medicine. So they think that is where it all began, with Hippocrates.
I don't know. All the Greek things, everybody sort of like looks like their art. Like the Greek art, it looks all.
Well, I'm not an art person, not that kind of art. Like Greek art. Alright, so who is known as the father of medicine? Hippocrates. What is the Hippocratic Oath? A code of behavior which physicians or doctors must follow.
Ancient Romans.
The Greeks made many medical advances, but in 146 BC, Greece was conquered by the Roman Empire. The Romans did not accept the medical practices of the Greeks. The teachings of Hippocrates were forgotten, and medicine returned its focus to supernatural causes and cures. In the mid 100 AD, a Greek physician named Claudius Galen went to Rome and quickly became famous for curing the emperor's stomachache. Galen reintroduced the ideas of Hippocrates to the Romans. However, he ignored the practice of careful observation and note taking. Instead, he taught that the body was composed of four fluids. If the fluids became unbalanced, sickness would occur. Galen also developed theories of human anatomy by dissecting pigs. Many of Galen's theories were flawed, and true medical progress was held back for centuries. As a result of Galen's theories, the Romans contributed very little to medical advancement. They did, however, recognize that disease was often caused by filth and overcrowding. They installed superior drainage and sanitation systems and also set up public hospitals. Which of Hippocrates' teachings did Claudius Galen ignore? Observation and note taking. The ancient Romans contributed a lot to medical advancement. False. They did not.
Epidemics and pandemics.
Alright, so while the ancient Romans made some great strides toward curbing disease through their drainage systems and hospitals, there was still much to learn and discover about the spread of disease and how to prevent it. They were about to find out in the very worst way. The wide and rapid spread of disease throughout the ancient world was devastating to the societies it affected. Infectious diseases that have widespread impact on a population may be classified as epidemic or pandemic. The CDC, or Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, defines an epidemic as a greater number of cases of an infectious disease than normal in a populational area. The spread of the disease is often very fast. The CDC defines a pandemic as an epidemic that spreads to a significantly larger population across several countries or continents. So we're in a pandemic now. That is how it is. So we have COVID, which started in China, but now it's spread across the world. So that's why it's considered a pandemic. All right, which level of disease affects a greater number in a greater geographical area? Pandemic.
Dark Ages.
All right, in 542 AD, y'all know what AD stands for?
After death.
After death. The Roman Empire succumbed to the first major pandemic in history. The entire known world, stretching from China to Africa and Europe, developed outbreaks of bubonic plague. Bubonic plague is caused by a bacterium transmitted by fleas and rats. Untreatable in ancient Romans, the plague killed a large portion of the population. So you need to know during the Dark Ages, the bubonic plague was the major pandemic. So during the Dark Ages, the bubonic plague was a major pandemic. Widespread disease was an important factor in the sacking of Rome by barbarians and the subsequent fall of the Roman Empire. This led to the period known as the Dark Ages. But once again, the study of medicine was forbidden. People turned to religion, magic, and folklore to cure disease.
Wait, so during the Dark Ages, the bubonic plague was
the major pandemic. So with medicine, it's going back and forth. You got them believing in supernatural. You got them believing that it's results of like four fluids in the body. So they keep going back and forth about whoever believes what about medicine. So during this time, they were like, okay, medicine, the study of it is forbidden. So now we're going to say, okay, religion, magic, and folklore. So everybody had their own agenda about what they thought that how medicine came about or what you're supposed to do as far as with medicine or how you're supposed to cure disease and infection in people.
What you had said for the last part?
You just need to write down that the bubonic plague was the major pandemic during the Dark Ages. That was it. All right, what is the name of the world's first pandemic which occurred during the Dark Ages? The bubonic plague.
The end of an era.
Now, one of my students yesterday, I think it was my first year, he was talking about some plague. Something about you got to kill your firstborn son.
That was in the Bible.
Yeah, but he was the way he told it. We were all like, what?
That was in the play. That was like a thing.
Yeah, he was calling it something else though. I was like, from the Bible. He was like, it's the.
Yeah, it's from the Bible because that's from the Moses story. You know how they gave it to the.
Yeah.
Everybody in the city did, but I think the king or whatever the dude was, or whoever was controlling the dude, and the firstborn died.
Yeah.
His daughter kept the baby.
Yeah, he said he was
allowed,
talking
she
about.
was allowed to keep the baby.
He was like, you hadn't heard about that, and I was like, he made it like he wasn't saying like it was from the Bible. He was like, it was in a book. Huh? He was like, it was in a book. And I was like, what book? And he went to thinking about it and he just came out with it. I was like, oh, okay. All right, the end of an era. Many medical discoveries were made during the ancient time period. However, the era ended just as it began. Most people who live in the ancient world believe that sickness was directly linked to supernatural beings. They believe that sickness could only be cured through obedience, prayer, and religious rites. So now we're back to the supernatural again, where we started from. And that's the only way that sickness, infection, and all this stuff can be cured. So they're just going back and forth. All right, let's see if y'all can put these in the right spot. All right, illness treated by priests and medicine men. Which one y'all think that is? Primitive era. Okay. Promoted conservative medical practices. You said no?
Oh, I know the documented 1,000 was Chinese.
Documented 1,000 was Chinese.
Didn't the Greeks? Didn't the Greeks do the sewer system?
Let's put Romans here. And then sewer system. There we go. Greek. Okay. So like this one, and this one.
You gonna go through it and see if it's even correct? Or you gonna say what they made the mistake?
Required that physicians were paid for their services. What do you think that one is?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got Hindus and Dark Ages left, and you got these two.
Hindus was like Galen.
Okay.
Something's wrong. Because Dark Ages was supernatural.
Something is wrong. Let's see. So you got those wrong. Greeks, Romans, Hindus, and Dark Ages. Everything else is right.
The Greeks or
Huh?
I know the Romans did also do the sewer system. But I don't think they developed it. Someone else did it before them.
Hindus is what? This one? I can't hear for that drilling.
Okay, I
Uh-oh.
think Dark Ages was the study of medicine.
Dark Ages, study of medicine is
Everything's
forbidden.
supernatural. Oh yeah. No, I think the Hippocrates was the Greeks.
So y'all want to put Greeks here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I'm thinking of something apart. Yeah.
Romans.
And no, I didn't.
Uh-oh.
Greek.
Something wrong still. Romans and Hindus.
Just switch
Hindus was. Alright. So illness was treated by priests and medicine men. That's your primitive era. Egyptians promoted conservative medical practices. Babylonians required that physicians were paid for their services. Hindus trained in many types of surgery, developed a sewer system, documented 1,000 medicinal herbs, established the science of acupuncture, was Chinese. Hippocrates and Aristotle teach that illness is a result of natural causes. That's the Greeks. And then Claudius Galen introduces many incorrect medical practices as Romans. Study of medicine is forbidden in the Dark Ages. Okay, I think it's something I forgot
The
to
end
tell
of an
y'all to
era.
write down. Hold on.
Dark Ages.
It's-
Epidemics and ancient Romans.
All right, for the ancient times, you need to know that disease was they installed superior drainage and sanitation systems. That was to slow the spread of disease.
Who was it? The Romans?
Ancient Romans, yes. So they installed a sewer and drainage and sanitation systems to slow the spread of disease. Oh. All right, I'm gonna call roll. Just answer. Beeman, Blake, Boyd, Curtis, Daniel, Dillard, Viviano, Goodson, Hurst, Matson, Mitchell, Morris, Morrow, Norman, Jorge, Owens, Parker, Harriman, Pettis, Rogers, Raven, Brian, Taylor, Tolliver, Jesus, Varner, Walker Dermacia, Walker Courtney, Watkins, Cameron Williams, Elijah Williams, Janera Williams, Princess Williams, Sydney Williams, Harnisha Wilson, and then Jackson. So he's taking off. What's the first? What's the most gonna be the muscle pain day? Huh? I like purple.
Oh no, so this is actually my aunt's college notebook that she had a few of. It's gonna go. She's originally.
Alright, so, the other day, sorry, I dropped the event, alright.
But if you find something that you can find, this one with the other one. So, you know, if the first thing you take off the glue, and then the glue gonna be the last thing you take off. Don't put it on. So Dolphin is taking off and Don is you have left leg. He said it got a little bit.
Everybody else protection, you cover and take your mouth. Okay? I'm not gonna say anything, but it's okay, as long as you cover your mouth, protect everybody else.
I don't know.
Your own protection.
So Dolphin. I was just looking at it.
I don't look at it. Well, you're here. Hey, look, at least. I mean, they could be looking in the distance like this.
I just felt something. I looked up.
Wait, I gotta clean your house. That's not the only person that makes this, but like when you know someone's coming over, you always constantly looking out the window and you see it right here, and you just never hear looking out the window. It's like every 10 minutes.
So the front part gonna be the one that's coming, right? The back part gonna be
She touched my purse. Oh, and I did.
somebody got COVID, so that is what we all wear. Which one? Right now?
Make him go to sleep.
Good. Did you
All
turn
right,
your
yeah,
thing out?
but get out this hall, friend.
Didn't have it.
Oh, y'all ready for that shit? Hey, ready for that shit? Hey.
Say going to RPC? Who you got?
Oh, you go Sergeant.
Get the phone, jump on that basket. I got it. Walking right now. What you want?
Alright.
Man.
You coming back here, man?
Mm-mm. I thought he was gonna cut again.
I'm forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
Fat things.
Here we go back.
This is not gonna work for me. I don't know these children for initials.
Who did that? Mr. Aaron did that?
This is not gonna
I
work.
didn't look at my look.
It's not gonna work.
Yep. BG.
It's not gonna work for me. I ain't trying to be funny, but it's just not gonna work.
Why don't you keep it at the door?
Come here.
Hi. Mr. Aaron. People.
Go my name. She and I.
Right. Thick jeans. Thick. Look, where my key at? Cause you know she's gonna be looking.
Yeah. He gonna attack you. Yeah. Look, he gonna attack you today. You better go in that room.
Oh,
They fix the door so when it's dry, both go bang, bang. That's what you want to do.
I know the key. I said, who all those I said they women do stuff here.
It ain't time to go in the morning.
That's one of the three times.
You
You ain't got 3 times. me no internship virtual. Somebody she had last year. Oh well, she gonna stay virtual access. You don't need those classes like that. Oh my lord! How about I got a new student today, like brand new, like not that she wasn't showing up. No new. She talking about they just added me. Golly. But when they gonna take these kids that never showed up out? You still got some? Oh, I told you they put your homework in my class again. What's going on? Right there. I know. I saw. I guess he been quarantined or something. I guess he been quarantined.
Fred, what you gonna wipe down all these dishes? Which one you gonna wipe down?
Just that one right there.
Oh, Fred, you going to school today?
What they doing? They taking that too?
No, they ain't got study. You ain't got a few of them. Yeah.
I told you Skipper come call me. He called me yesterday. I had a student that took therapeutic. I said, who is it? She said, you talking about Lisa Miles. And I said, oh. And I said, she said, oh, but she going straight first. I said, she has no internship.
She doing straight first.
Access or something she was saying.
Oh.
I said, oh, well, no, she can't come here. They got to do stuff in here. They got to do hands out stuff. What they gonna do? I gotta figure out a
Wait a
plan.
minute.
Huh?
How's she doing straight virtual?
Access? I thought somebody said you can do virtual, but you can come for your electives. Somebody told me the other day. Somebody said that to me. But it was Jones was telling me she didn't know you could do that. But you can not virtual from school, but you can come to your electives here or something. She said she had a boy like that or something. She was telling me the other day. You can't do that either.
You can't pick and choose.
But homeschool can play sports though, right?
They can play sports. Homeschool can come get the special services like resourcing.
Oh. She told me that the other day that we was in the lunchroom. She said
Like if they need to go, like the therapists that come,
Mhm.
come need the speech pathologist, the therapist.
She said she didn't know that. I said, I ain't know that either.
Homeschool, you can't come to the electives. That means you still part of the school.
Right, that's why when she told me, I was like, I ain't know they could do that. I don't know.
You can get the services like counseling,
Oh, wow.
but they let me sure and do anything.
They
to
sure
create
are.
a problem.
But I'm saying, like, if you got documented reason, like medical,
That's where I'm gonna go over now and talk to Sydney Steve and get my stuff straight in on the school year.
yeah, I'm gonna email her and tell her, that's what she's talking about. That's the only one that's missing. It's like career prep. But she talking about they supposed if it's in high school, why they right in school to see?
Because they weren't talking right together.
They still not talking about it. It's stuff thinking. I didn't look at school to be honest. You know, some people say they using it. I ain't using it. You use school? Oh, you did? See, that's what I'm talking about. But see, the thing, they ain't got no devices. How they take their test? Huh? I'm saying, but you got a device. Well, see, mine, they can't, you know, they keep giving them that message saying, somebody not on the number, you know, the one that Martin said, what was doing? That what, when they try to log in, that's what it keeps saying. And then when I talked to the teacher about it before teacher, she said it was everybody trying to get out at the same time, but it's still doing it. I get them to, I usually do, cause, well, my smaller classes, cause I got 23 Chromebooks, I can do it with them, but them big classes I can't, cause I don't have enough. A laptop, I don't have Chromebooks.
So parents are saying, I'm getting emails like about their kids' work, and I ain't seen the kid yet.
Oh, in quarantine.
But I'm saying, I have not seen them, ever.
Right. But are they saying they quarantine?
Yeah, the parents sending some out. See, this another thing. Why are y'all telling the parents to email us to tell us their child's on quarantine when you should give us the information that they're
So
on
we already know, cause like, if you know you got a test, and I'm on for those that's quarantined, I put it on Google Classroom for now, but you know, when Schoology comes up, I put it there. But like, if I know you on there, I just go ahead and assign it to you. But we don't know until I get an email, I'm on quarantine, then
But even if you assign the work, they don't have to do it.
I
You
know,
gotta
but-
give them 3 weeks after they get back to do the
but
work.
you know, some of the kids be want to do their work. So them the one that gonna email me like, hey,
Them children can do.
I got some, huh?
Your ninth grade like that?
oh yeah. I don't know, he's not there, but he emailed me yesterday.
But see, my thing is, I don't wanna work that I'm finna put a grade on. I don't wanna send that work out there for you and your mom to look over, go back and forth, Google everything, and then you come back in class and then you come do it. And you get all the answers right, because she done coach you through the assignment.
Right.
But then when you have to apply what that was about, you don't know what to do.
Hopefully your mom was taught only you can't even get the answer for.
But I'm gonna do like everybody else, everybody said, this stuff ain't right, it ain't gonna be right. Make it easy for yourself. I'm gonna do some headphones, some ingenuity, some this and that, stuff that got videos to it. So you can watch that video. The work will be waiting on when you come back. So I'm assuming you better watch that video multiple times before you come, because the assignment will be due upon your arrival. Huh?
What is Nearpod?
Nearpod, I know, what's up? Nearpod, I know a little